responding to one of his followers on Twitter. This may be one of those things where you think before you press send, because it is hard to convey a message in 140 characters. He responded to a follower who posted something about LeBron James. He says, "LeBron will be up there in his career if his career continues to go the way it's going." However, Jennings stopped short of saying that he will be in the same class as some of the all-time greats. Take a look. He says, he run too much when, let's say, things get tough. Never just stuck it out like MJ, Magic, Bird, Kobe. Don't have to at him. That would be LeBron James. I didn't say he was a bad player, just said he didn't stick it out with Cleveland. He went on to say he was just saying what every media outlet said in 2010. Meanwhile, here's the question, and Stephen, I'll start with you. Inbounds or out of bounds for him to post something like that on Twitter?
Well, first of all, I don't want to say it's out of bounds for him to post something on Twitter.
Right.
I do believe that they should have the right to express themselves any way they choose, as long as they're not running from it. And Brandon Jennings wasn't running from it. He still acknowledged that LeBron James is the best power forward ever, that he's one of the top 10 players of all time, but he said stop the nonsense with the best. If we have a right and a license to express those feelings, I have no problem with Brandon Jennings expressing those feelings as well, if that's the way he truly feels. Where I have a problem with what he said is that Brandon Jennings wanted to leave Milwaukee for greener pastures. That happened to be more monetary than anything else, and I get all of that. But you made that decision yourself. And Brandon Jennings knows good and well that LeBron James isn't the only player in the world that looked forward to free agency, because these guys crave for the opportunity to go where they want to go. You have to understand that we can get up and leave a job. No, we don't make their money or whatever. But just psychologically, think about it this way, guys. Once you get your check and you know the check's coming, you don't really think about the money because you know you have it. Now it's about the quality of life that you have. And when you get drafted, you're stuck with the team. When you sign a contract, you have to honor the length of that contract like the rest of us, of course. And I think that when you look at LeBron and LeBron making that decision, and one of the things that really disturbs me, and I'm not going to get into it because it's too personal. I know stuff that I will never say about that. But back in 2010, it was not just about LeBron wanting to leave Miami. It was about a lot of stuff that was going on in Cleveland. It was about a lot of stuff that was going on with his teammates. It was a lot of stuff that was going on in his personal life that led to him feeling like that wasn't a family. And he wanted to be someplace else. There was a reason why every single press conference that he had his first year in Miami, who was sitting right next to him? It was Dwayne Wade, because it was a guy that basically had become like a big brother to him, that sort of showed him the way while at the same time displaying a level of loyalty that is rare for LeBron James. Outside of his clique, the Rich Pauls, the Maverick Carters, Randy and those boys. Outside of them, from a basketball teammate standpoint, the basketball player, the Chris Pauls of the world, who's a godfather to his son, the Dwayne Wade, Melo, those guys. I mean, Dwayne Wade being there with him, it meant everything because they knew what he was going through. They understood that. So guys in the NBA fraternity have heard their stories themselves. And all I would say to Brandon Jennings, who I like and respect, you know better. You know better than saying what you said, because you know that LeBron didn't just leave just because of basketball or because he was trying to run to play with better players at the time. This team did win 33, had the second worst record in the NBA, had a 26-game losing streak the year after he left with the same players he was just playing with and expected to take to an NBA title. I get that part. But if you know anything about LeBron James, who'll never admit it, who'll never discuss it, it was more than just basketball why this man left Cleveland. Brandon Jennings knows that. And so to revisit it on that level, that was uncalled for, because you know better. You know it wasn't just that, oh, he left Michael Jordan and Bird and then with it. You know it's more than that.
Okay. Very quickly, for the record, Brandon Jennings has gone after me on Twitter before, and it did not bother me one bit. I have invited Brandon to come on this show and sit in this chair.
I actually like Brandon.
He has declined. I like him too. Yeah. I like his spirit. I like his, whatever you want to call that, guts, whatever that thing is.
And I wish the Knicks had gotten him.
I know.
Yes.
And unfortunately, he can't play at this moment because he blew out his Achilles tendon.
Yes.
Maybe he had too much time on his hands, right? Okay. So I hope in the future he will come sit with us, because I think he would be an addition to this desk. I think we would have a lot of fun and go a lot of places with him.
He's welcome.
Okay. There is, to me, much truth to what he tweeted about LeBron James, but he should not have said it. He's not there yet. He has a long way to go in his career. Not sure where he's going to end up, Brandon Jennings. But if he continues to grow up, and remember, Detroit had it going, man, and he was in the middle of it before he got hurt. Detroit looked pretty good last night against Miami, by the way.
Stan Van Gundy's doing a hell of a job.
He's doing a job. I agree. The point is that I don't want to be a hypocrite about this. I have voiced, as you well know, similar reservations on this show repeatedly about LeBron James. And my big picture point has been what Brandon tweeted about. In a similar circumstance, I still don't believe Michael Jordan would have left Cleveland, for even given all the things that you talk about, because what you did not bring up was that Michael Jordan despised his general manager in Chicago, wanted to strangle his general manager.
Krause.
Yeah, one time I was walking with Michael on the golf course, and his ball was in a fairway bunker. And he walked in and he said, "I'm going to imagine this is Jerry Krause's face on this golf ball." That's how he would motivate himself to lift the ball out of the bunker. That's how much he hated Jerry Krause. He often clashed with Jerry Reinsdorf, his owner in Chicago, and felt he was woefully underpaid, which he always was woefully underpaid. So you can't tell me that Michael's circumstance was heavenly compared to LeBron's circumstance, because I don't think it was. But did he make the very best of it? You better believe he did, because he's Michael Jordan. LeBron James is LeBron James. And I do think, I don't know if run is the right word, but when LeBron had the chance to go play and learn sitting at the knee of Dwayne Wade, he ran to that situation. He joined Chris Bosh, and we all know what happened. And it was great. But Michael Jordan, at that age, would have stayed in Cleveland. I think Larry Bird would have stayed in Cleveland. I think Magic would have stayed in Cleveland, although you can certainly argue back to me, Magic had a wealth of talent around him in Los Angeles.
Well, the thing about it is that that's the part that's so unfair to LeBron. And listen, I got news flash for everybody. This notion, you know, because people get on me because I'm so supportive of LeBron James. I have no relationship with LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we say hi.
But you like some of the guys around him.
But they're cool. But what I'm trying to say is that sometimes they don't like me. Sometimes having that relationship is detrimental because, look, they're going to text me when they got a problem with what I say. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't want to hear from them. But I believe in giving people that you talk about a voice, whether it's through them directly or through some of their confidants. My whole point is this. LeBron and I ain't exchanging no damn Christmas gifts.
Right.
We ain't having Thanksgiving dinner together. If I feel a certain way about LeBron James, damn it, I'll say it. And I won't blink. But I happen to believe that he's an absolute wonderful role model in person. Okay? In terms of what he represents. And I think that it's grotesquely unfair that people compare him to those guys and just blanketly do it that way. Magic had Kareem and Worthy, Norm Nixon, then Byron Scott, Michael Cooper, Michael Thompson, Kurt Rambis, Pat Riley as a coach, Jerry West as an executive. I mean, my God, this is what Magic had. Larry Bird was Larry Bird, but he had McHale, who, by the way, until Tim Duncan, it wasn't Karl Malone, much respect to the mailman. It wasn't Karl Malone that could have very well been the best power forward ever. It was Kevin McHale, the most unstoppable force inside of 10 feet at the power forward spot in the history of this game. Karl Malone with the fast break, the pick and roll, pick and pop jumpers. He wasn't the inside force that Kevin McHale was. It was Kevin McHale. You had Kevin McHale. You had Robert Parrish. You had Dennis Johnson. You had Danny Ainge. You had Gerald Henderson. You had, listen, they had a crew. Casey Jones was your coach. I mean,
if you take Larry Bird out of the middle of that, it's not near what it was.
It's not near what it was, but it ain't Cleveland after LeBron left. I can promise you that. So my point is, then you look at Kobe. Well, Kobe didn't leave. That's my man. We all know how I feel about the Black Mamba. But Kobe, it was either him or Shaq. Because Kobe wasn't trying to stay on with Shaq. So he was able to stay in L.A. because Shaq was left. Had Shaq stayed, had Bus been committed to Shaq staying, what would Kobe have done? We don't know if he would have stayed in L.A.
Right.
He is on the record saying that Chicago was a consideration. You know, who knows if the Clippers weren't?
Kobe said he wanted out at one point.
All right, so my point is this. If we recognize those tidbits, those facts, how would we then engage in condemnation when it comes to LeBron James?
Okay, but you can even, I'm not sure Brandon was going here, but even what happened last summer, I don't think the word run applies, but he left a situation that he thought was declining.
But I tried to tell you, and here's where I look at you, my brother from another mother. When are you going to listen to your boy? This is what I do. I tried to tell you.
I'm listening, but I don't hear.
Yeah, you're not hearing,
right.
because no matter how many times I've said this, it wasn't just because of the players. Pat Riley, it wasn't an ideal situation.
Right.
There were things that LeBron wanted. There's a way that he felt he and his clique should have been treated. He wasn't necessarily that happy in South Beach. Now, that's not to knock.
That's got some diva going there. There's a little diva.
But that's not to knock Pat Riley. Pat Riley's letting you know the players will not run the asylum. I run South Beach. Mickey Harrison obviously gave the power to Pat Riley. I'm not conceding it. But you can't ignore that as a factor. It's not like he just said, well, Dwayne's injured. Man, I ain't staying here. Well, I don't have a Kyrie Irving, so I'm going to leave Cleveland the first time. It's not that simple. There are other things that go into it. All I'm saying is we have an obligation to bring that stuff up because that's what affected LeBron James.
Okay. Is there some truth to what Brandon tweeted?
Brandon, when he sits there and says LeBron runs or whatever, you know what I thought about? How many times LeBron deferred to somebody else taking a shot as opposed to himself.
Okay.
Like we were getting on him like, look, I understand that Dwayne Wade is a closer, but you need to be too. And it took him after
that's fine.
it was
That's
once
fair.
when he lost the finals to Dallas. Then we saw LeBron say enough of this. But prior to that, he was deferential.
Right.
And that's what I thought Brandon Jennings was alluding to. That argument
I did too when I first started.
That argument is legit.
Yeah.
But to ignore the other stuff, come on, man, you can't do that to this man.
All right.
You can't do that to the LeBron. You just can't.
After the break, staying with basketball, this is an experiment that's fallen on its face. That, according to Phil Jackson, Stephen A. Yeah, it's fallen on its face. Okay, you don't want to talk about it? All right, here we go.
It hurts too much.
I know. His take on the Knicks. The New York Post agrees. Skip and Stephen A. respond. Give me an F grade. We'll be right back in just a few moments.